Hey, what's up you guys? If you couldn't figure it out by the title of this video, this is my first time playing Ocarina of Time. And outside of a couple of hours of playing Wind Waker as a kid, this is actually my first time playing and beating a Legend of Zelda game. I'm ready to share my opinion on The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. A spoiler warning for an almost 30-year-old game. I want to start by saying I like the inclusion of Navi. It's my understanding that this game created enemy targeting, and the way this game does it is super unique to me, I think personally. I feel like my biggest problem in this game was learning to climb and jump. I wanted to push a button even though climbing and jumping aren't tied to any buttons. I enjoyed the non-linear aspects of the game. Generally, I just went in the direction the game pointed me to, but I like being able to play the story in any order I choose, really. I think the story represented in Ocarina of Time is extremely simple and to the point, but that doesn't mean I didn't enjoy the story or its several twists and turns. For example, I received an ocarina early in the playthrough and thought, oh, this must be the Ocarina of Time. But then, once I get to the point where Zelda is running from Ganondorf, she throws the Ocarina of Time, and I'm thinking, oh, this is the Ocarina of Time? I'm just now getting it almost halfway through the game? It gets even better though. My whole life, when I heard about Ocarina of Time, I always assumed the Ocarina of Time is what takes you through time. But apparently, it's just used to open up the Temple of Time, where you find the Master Sword, and the Master Sword sends you through time because you're not old enough to use it yet. I thought a lot about adulthood while I was playing this game. Maybe it's because I just had a son in the past year, but this game is a true coming-of-age story. It truly reflects in the gameplay. It feels like as Kid Link, nobody takes you seriously or believes that you can handle anything of importance until you prove yourself. But as adult Link, everyone is depending on you and expects you to take on the responsibilities to fix everything, and it all happens so fast. There's no real conversation whether it's the right thing to send Link in time and entrust him with all of this responsibility. The game even pushes this feeling of not being ready for what's to come by having an apocalypse cityscape right when you walk out of the doors of the temple. I genuinely wasn't expecting anything like this from The Legend of Zelda. This idea of not being ready to take on the apocalypse that is Hyrule reminds me of becoming an adult and not being ready to handle the responsibilities that come with it. Growing up can be overwhelming and give you anxiety, and a future ruled by Ganondorf definitely gives me anxiety. But through all that, there's hope and friends to help Link along the way. I have to say that I had the big reveal spoiled that Sheik is actually Zelda through the Super Smash Bros. Games, but the game came out in 1997. It would be pretty hard to avoid any spoilers at all. I think my least favorite dungeon in the game had to be Jabba Jabba's belly. The dungeon just was confusing to me. It wasn't very well put together, and anytime I died, which was more than once in this dungeon, it just felt impossible to get back to where I was going. On the flip side, probably a controversial opinion from what I've seen online, but the water temple I think was my favorite dungeon in the game. It felt like an appropriate challenge and a well put together dungeon for the point in the game that you're at, and I feel like it was appropriately difficult, and I honestly liked it a lot. Didn't really have any problems with that one. Now, I didn't realize before going into this that music was such a huge part of The Legend of Zelda. After playing it, I completely understand why. Like, the music is phenomenal, and it plays such an integral part to the story. There was a couple of times where I was kind of just walking around the house and my girlfriend caught me going bum 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 bum, and it's funny how the music is so catchy, and it kind of grabs hold of you, and it's definitely hard to forget or not think about. There's definitely been several times throughout the past couple of weeks while I've been playing this game that the music has just popped back in my head, and I keep coming back to it every time. I think that that's definitely going to be the most memorable part of playing all of the Legend of Zelda games throughout this series, is going to be the music for me. Now, I'd like to take a minute to talk about the story of Ocarina of Time, because even though the story is fairly simple and straightforward, I really enjoyed it. It's basically a story of a boy who's asked to fight a bad guy by a princess, and the boy then has to go through time in order to defeat said bad guy. The story of Ocarina of Time doesn't blow me away, but I imagine if I had played this game as a kid, I'd really be impressed with it. So I'm gonna try and tier list all of the Legend of Zelda games as I'm going through playing them. This is kind of the review part of all of this, I guess. And I would have to put the Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time up in S tier. If I'm being completely honest, I mean, I've had so many people tell me it's such a great game, it's their favorite Zelda game. I not only see why it's so many people's favorite Zelda game, but I think it's one of my favorite games that I've ever played of all time. Even with how archaic the controls kind of feel, I'm definitely more into the modern controls. It almost feels like a precursor for what we get in a lot of Soulsborne games nowadays. One thing I really wasn't expecting from this game was the Souls-like elements. You can really tell they drew so much inspiration from The Legend of Zelda. It's kind of crazy with the roll dodging, and I felt like every single boss I had to learn the mechanics to before I could truly get the hang of beating them. I think I had to fight every single boss in the entire game at least twice, if not more. And on that note, my favorite boss in the game was probably Phantom Ganon. I don't know why, I just really enjoyed it. It took me a couple of tries to beat him, but I like the whole part where he's jumping through the mirrors and you have to stop him, and everything about that fight. And that's another thing that makes it so much more like a Souls-like, is he was a two-phase boss fight, and getting him to his second phase and losing to him was not satisfying, but it was satisfying to beat him after getting him to his second phase. I think I got him there twice before I finally beat him. It was a great boss fight. That's probably my favorite one in the game. Which, I'm also not the biggest Soulsborne game player, but if you guys want to see more of that, I could try out a bunch of Soulsborne games for the first time on the channel, and I think that would be really cool. But yeah, I'm setting the bar real high with this first Zelda game, because it's definitely an S tier game for me. If I were to rate it, I'd probably give it a 9 or maybe a 9.5. I'm leaning more towards like a 9.5, I think. But yeah, that's been my review. I hope you guys enjoyed getting to see me play The Legend of Zelda for the first time, and maybe even making a fool of myself in the videos. Let me know what I could do better in the comments below. And make sure you like and subscribe.